सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्म संसारसागरे मग्नं दीनं मां करुणानिधे कर्ममोहगृहीताङ्गं मामुद्धर भवार्णवात्। श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे। मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वथा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यः दासोऽहं तव केशव। शुकरूपप्रबोधज्ञ सर्वशास्त्रविशारद एतत्कथाप्रकाशेन मदज्ञानं विनाशय। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः। तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षये सूतमहामुनये शौनकादि ऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादि ऋषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादि भक्तजनेभ्यो मत्स्यादि अवतारेभ्यो आदित्यादि नवग्रह देवताभ्यो दक्षिणामूर्ति दत्तात्रेय हेग्रीवादि गुरुभ्यो नमः। दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती स्वरूपिणी श्री आदिपराशक्ति मात्रे नमः। माता पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। आद्य शंकराचार्य वर्यादि गुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कंदः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। पारायणम् अथ पारायणम् अथ सप्तदशोऽध्यायः। 36 shlokas. Let us chant today in this chapter as Parayanam. Remaining tomorrow we do Parayanam as we are doing every day, as our offering to Paramatma, and also ourselves becoming familiar and reminding ourselves of what we studied in this Mukti Skandha, Skandha number 11, 17th chapter. अथ सप्तदशोऽध्यायः। उद्धव उवाच यस्त्वया विहितः पूर्वं धर्मस्त्वद्भक्तिलक्षणः वर्णाश्रमाचारवतां सर्वेषां द्विपदामपि यथानुष्ठीयमानेन त्वयि भक्तिर्नृणां भवेत् स्वधर्मेणारविन्दाक्ष तत्समाख्यातुमर्हसि पुरा किल महाबाहो धर्मं परमकं प्रभो यत्तेन हंसरूपेण ब्रह्मणेभ्यात्थ माधव स इदानीं सुमहता कालेनामित्रकर्षण न प्रायो भवितामर्त्य लोके प्राग् अनुशासितः वक्ता कर्ता वितानान्यः धर्मस्याच्युत ते भुवि सभायामपि वैरिञ्च्यां यत्र मूर्तिधराः कलाः कर्त्रा वित्रा प्रवक्त्रा च भवता मधुसूदन त्यक्ते महीतले देव विनष्टं कः प्रवक्ष्यति तत् त्वं नः सर्वधर्मज्ञ धर्मस्त्वद्भक्तिलक्षणः यथा यस्य विधीयेत तथा वर्णय मे प्रभो। श्रीशुक उवाच इत्थं स्वभृत्य मुख्येन पृष्टः स भगवान् हरिः प्रीतः क्षेमाय मर्त्यानां धर्मान् आह सनातनान्। श्रीभगवानुवाच धर्म्य एष तव प्रश्नः नैश्रेयसकरो नृणां वर्णाश्रमाचारवतां तमुद्धव निबोध मे आदौ कृतयुगे वर्णः नृणां हंस इति स्मृतः कृतकृत्याः प्रजा जात्या तस्मात् कृतयुगं विदुः वेदः प्रणव एवाग्रे धर्मोऽहं वृषरूपधृत उपासते तपोनिष्ठाः हंसं मां मुक्तकिल्बिषाः त्रेतामुखे महाभाग प्राणान् मे हृदयात्रयी विद्या प्रादुरभूत् तस्याः अहमासं त्रिवृन्मखः विप्रक्षत्रियविट्शूद्राः मुखबाहुरुपादजाः वैराजात् पुरुषात् जाताः य आत्माचारलक्षणाः गृहाश्रमो जघनतः ब्रह्मचर्यं हृदो मम वक्षस्थानात् वने वासः न्यासः शीर्षणि संस्थितः वर्णानाम् आश्रमाणां च जन्मभूम्यनुसारिणीः आसन् प्रकृतयो नॄणां नीचैर्नीचोत्तमोत्तमाः शमोदमस्तपः शौचं सन्तोषः क्षान्तिरार्जवं मद्भक्तिश्च दया सत्यं ब्रह्म प्रकृतयस्त्विमाः तेजोबलं धृतिः शौर्यं तितिक्षौदार्यमुद्यमः स्थैर्यं ब्रह्मण्यतैश्वर्यं क्षत्रप्रकृतयस्त्विमाः आस्तिक्यं दाननिष्ठा च अदम्भो ब्रह्मसेवनम् अतुष्टिरर्थोपचयैः वैश्यप्रकृतयस्त्विमाः शुश्रूषणं द्विजगवाम देवानां चाप्यमायया तत्र लब्धेन सन्तोषः शूद्रप्रकृतयस्त्विमाः अशौचमनृतं स्तेयं नास्तिक्यं शुष्कविग्रहः कामः क्रोधश्च तर्षश्च स्वभावोऽन्तेव सायिनाम् अहिंसा सत्यमस्तेयम् अकामक्रोधलोभता भूतप्रियहितेहा च धर्मोऽयं सार्ववर्णिकः द्वितीयं प्राप्यानुपूर्व्यात् जन्मोपनयनं द्विजः वसन् गुरुकुले दान्तः ब्रह्माधीतचाहुतः मेखलाजिनदण्डाक्ष ब्रह्मसूत्रकमण्डलोन् जटिलो धौत तद्वासः अरक्तपीठः कुशान् दधतो स्नानभोजनहोमेषु जपोच्चारे च वाग्यतः न छिन्द्यान्न करोमाणि कक्षोपस्थगतान्यपि हरेतो नाव्यकिरेत् जातु ब्रह्मव्रतधरः स्वयम् अवकीर्णेव गाह्याप्सु यथा सुस्त्रिपदीं जपेत् अग्नि अर्क आचार्य गोविप्र गुरुवृद्धसुरानुशुचिः समाहितः उपासीत सन्ध्ये च यतवाक् जपन् आचार्यं मां विजानीयात् नावमन्येत कर्हिचितो न मर्त्यबुद्ध्या सूयेत सर्वदेवमयो गुरुः सायं प्रातरुपानीय भैक्षं तस्मै निवेदयेत् यच्चान्यदप्यनुज्ञातम् उपयुञ्जीत संयतः शुश्रूषमाणः आचार्यं सदोपासीत नीचवतो यानशय्यासनस्थानैः नातिदूरे कृताञ्जलिः एवं वृत्तो गुरुकुले वसेत् भोगविवर्जितः विद्यासमाप्यते यावत् बिभ्रत् व्रतम् अखण्डितम् यद्यसौ छन्दसां लोकम् आरोक्ष्यन् ब्रह्मविष्टपम् गुरवे विन्यसेत् देहं स्वाध्यायार्थं बृहद्व्रतः अग्नौ गुरावात्मनि च सर्वभूतेषु मां परम् अपृथग्धीरुपासीत ब्रह्मवर्चस्व्य कल्मषः स्त्रीणां निरीक्षणस्पर्श सल्लापक्ष्वेलनादिकं प्राणिनो मिथुनीभूतान् अगृहस्थो अग्रतस्त्यजेत शौचमाचमनं स्नानं सन्ध्योपासनमार्जवम् तीर्थसेवा जपो स्पृश्य अवक्ष्या सम्भाष्यवर्जनम् सर्वाश्रमप्रयुक्तोऽयं नियमः कुलनन्दन मद्भावः सर्वभूतेषु मनोवाक्काय संयमः एवं बृहद्व्रतधरः ब्राह्मणोऽग्निरिवज्ज्वलन् मद्भक्तः तीव्रतपसा दग्धकर्माशयो मलः ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, श्री भागवत शरणं मम, श्री सद्गुरु शरणं मम, श्री सूत शरणं मम, श्री शुकदेव शरणं मम, श्री व्यास शरणं मम, श्री नारद शरणं मम, श्री कुमार शरणं मम, श्री ब्रह्मा शरणं मम, श्री विष्णु शरणं मम, श्री परब्रह्म शरणं मम, श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, शरणं मम, शरणं मम। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ओम मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्ययं रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामामुञ्चत कर्हिचित्। ओं नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओं श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितेः अथ अष्टाविंशोऽध्यायः। हरि ओम. This is how every day we try to bring our mind to the subject we are studying through the prarthanas, through the ucharana or chantings. Then further 30-40 minutes, whatever the subject of the Shastra we are studying, as much as possible with full simplicity, sincerity, focus and attention, we try to listen, we try to grasp the information that is given in that. And then throughout the day, that information we have to do the mananam chintanam so that it becomes in knowledge. Repeatedly, when the same thing is thought about, that knowledge becomes our own conviction. Then, living that conviction is called transformation in our life from the path of bondage into the path of mukti or liberation. May we all that way fully understand all these, never forget even one moment, and by His grace be consistently on this path, therefore, of having the knowledge gained, having practiced the knowledge gained, having experienced the knowledge which is practiced. May we all that way grow day by day. Now we are into the study of so many Shastras nowadays, trying to fill our hearts with that and with our own limitations. Some we are able to understand, many we are not. Yet, we with full faith in Bhagavan and Guru are consistent, are insisting. And definitely, if not today, at least tomorrow, we become more and more fit for the absorption of this knowledge. There is no doubt about it. Among all those Shastras, one of the beautiful Shastram is Srimad Bhagavata Maha. So, unlike people think that it has only the stories, definitely there are stories. But stories not for entertainment. They are not for stories' sake. Not even they are mere information. Throughout all those stories, what is taught to us is the meditation on the absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi, as well as doing the Parama Dharma of Sharanagati to the Paramatma, who is maintaining the entire universe, including us, called as Paramadharma Abhyasam Kaitava Rahita. Kaitava is impurity. So, Projhita Kaitava Paramaha Dharmaha Atra. Atra Asmin Bhagavad Purane Paramadharmaha Katitaha. Extreme Dharma is taught. That is Bhakti Praujjita Kaitavaha. Without any malice. What is malice? Ego and some selfishness. So, egoless, selfless, total surrender yukta devotion is the Parama Dharma to be practically practiced and achieved by every of the evolving jiva. That jiva in the next level is given chance to do the dhimahi, the dhyana on param satyam. Satyam param dhimahi. So this is the purpose of all shastras, especially our Bhagavata Purana. Throughout the 12 skandhas, this is what is taught through variety of the stories. The 18,000 verses have in their essence this only. So the Adhikari Nirnaya Skandha, this Sadhana Skandha, this then Sargaha, Visargaha, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uti, Manvantarani, Ishanukatha, Nirodha. All these we have seen. And now in the 11th Skandha, we are in Mukti. Then the 12th will teach us that how and why we have to accept Bhagavan alone is Ashraya and leave everything into his care, and he takes us into his fold, gives us mukti. But as said just now, like the Paramadharma is taught, as well as Paramasatya Dhyanam is taught. You can observe that throughout the 10th skandha, through Bhagavan Krishna's avatar Leela, we are shown through various examples the practice of the Paramadharma, called as egoless, selfless, dedicated devotion, surrender to Bhagavan. In that, whoever have surrendered to them, Bhagavan gave mukti. Whoever have not only not surrendered, but acted contradictory to the Bhagavan's words or advices, and according opposite to the scriptures. To all of them, Bhagavan gave repeated trainings, repeated informations. Those who have not changed, to them he gave repeated warnings. Even with warnings, somebody is not changed. Be careful, listen carefully. They become the problem to others. Therefore, inevitably, Bhagavan had to eliminate them. Every dushta vyakti is not eliminated. If he learns and changes himself to become shishta, he is spared. But with repeated instructions, repeated education, repeated small hit punishments, also, if one is not changing, he doesn't deserve to be here because his presence will misguide others. Therefore, Bhagavan takes the extreme step. But otherwise, his first step is to give guidance, direction to everyone. So the Paramadharma Abhyasa of Ahankara Rahita, Swartha Rahita, Bhakti Yukta Sharanagati is the theme of the Jivan Mukta person in one way, and that is what is the all sadhana shastras say. Here also in the 10th skandha we have seen it. Then once one has done that, immediately followed by it is the jnana sadhana of dhyanam on Paramatatvam. That is what we were seeing right from the beginning. Again we started Parayanam, where it started with the Narada Vasudeva Samvada, where the Navayogi Katha started. From there, throughout the Skandham, we see how to meditate on the absolute truth is being taught, along with various sadhanas that are required to understand and practice at those levels of our evolution. More interestingly, if you see now, even in these last two chapters again, what we are studying, till yesterday, what we studied in our last 26 days, called as the 27th chapter, in which on the Prashna of Uddhavaji, Sri Krishna Bhagavan has taught in all details the Kriya Yoga Prakriya. In that, what was done? Archana of Bhagavan. Through that, what is done? Aradhana of Bhagavan. With that, what is done? The Paramadharma is practiced. What it is? Total arpana to the Lord of Aham and Mama and Mahyam. Me, mine and to me. मैं, मेरा और मुझे, ये तीनों तू, तेरा और तुझे, with bhavana is made to be surrendered to the Bhagavan. That was the idea behind the Vaidika or Tantra Paddhatis of Kriya Yoga. So through the Vaidika Tantra Paddhati of Kriya Yoga, what is to be achieved in the deep core of our heart? I belong to him, mine, everything is his only. There should never be anything I want or for me. Aham mama mahyam, मैं मेरा मेरे लिए. Dropping all this by saying tu tera tere liye is bhakti. That is what is taught through all these steps. Okay? So Satyam Param Dhimahi is again proved. Entire Shastras it is there, in Bhagavata it is there throughout. In Bhagavata also, the 10th and 11th chapters talk about these two. Again in the 11th chapter, the 27th chapter, till yesterday we studied, that taught us the Paramadharma of through Upasana, we have to do the Sharanagati. Now again, you have to complete the topic. Therefore, Bhagavan in the 28th Sarga or chapter takes up the Parama Satya Dhyanam. So, Paramadharma Abhyasa of Bhakti Sharanagati in the 10th Skandha and also in the 27th chapter. Again, Paramasatya Dhyanam in the entire 21st Skandha and especially in this 28th chapter. And this is the conclusion. After this, very few, maybe a half of the next chapter 29 will be the instructions, teachings of Bhagavan, not only to the Uddhavji, but after that he just leaves this world and this his beautiful Divya Avatara Deha and goes back to his ultimate Loka. So from that context also, in the sequence of events also, and keeping the disciple Uddhava in the mind, and also in the context of 11th Skandha, from all these angles, what we have to understand is the 28th chapter again is the most important and profound. It has got around 48-50 slokas, but in that Bhagavan has 44 has given us the contemplation, meditation on the absolute truth. And in the first 10 slokas itself, he gives the preparatory cares we have to take in our outer and inner life so that we become qualified for this Paratattva, the Brahma Tattva, the Mula Tattva, the Mukhya Tattva, the Atma Tattva. With that, every human being's evolution also concludes. With that, every disciple's listening from the Guru concludes. With that, every Guru's teachings also conclude. With that only, the purpose of the arrival of the Shastras also concludes. That most important, divine, very high level of Tattva Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Atma Jnana, Mukti Jnana is the topic of this 28th chapter, 28th chapter. Now, the introduction can be is like this. Ki in the 27th chapter, we have done the upasanas. Okay. Now, those upasanas, be attentive, are fulfilling in our total surrender to the Lord or not? Listen carefully. If at all we are not able to do, be attentive. What could be the reason? What things we have to recheck in ourselves, readjust in ourselves? Point one. Point two. If at all we have fully fulfilled ourselves in the upasana in which we surrendered to the Lord, what Lord gives us, what we have to take from the Lord, or what is the next step after the Kriya Yoga, after the Upasanas? Is that the end of everything? No, like in the morning class. What we saw in the Pranava Upasana, ki Pranava is understood by the disciple as taught by his Guru. Then Pranava Upasana he has done throughout his Yajnashala as well as in other day-to-day life. But in its Parakashta Sthiti, towards the end of that Ashtama Anuvaka, if you see, what did the disciple or that Brahmana or Veda Pandita did? Didn't he say that by chanting Om now I am going to study Vedanta? With the help of the Om, I am going to understand Vedanta. Again, with the blessings of the Om, who is Parabrahma himself, I'll use that Vedanta Jnana for my contemplation. Through that, I will reach the ultimate goal of Brahma Prapti. With this conviction, he studied the Vedanta, and with this conviction, he did the practice of it, and because of a practice, in fact, he reached out also. See that we saw it today, yesterday. Om iti brahmana pravakshannaha brahmopapnavaniti brahmaivopapnoti brahmaivopapnoti. With Brahma as goal, with faith in that he will reach that Brahma, and for that Om will help, Upanishad Jnana will help. With all this faith, consistently he involved in the listening, the studying, the contemplation and meditation, and the sentence the Rishi of Upanishad says is, this is how time immemorial onwards every of the high level, deep, serious, sincere seeker has done till now. And for your information, for your joy, for your surprise, every one of them have reached. Even now, there are thousands who are on the path at the brim or verge of completing sadhana. They are also going to get Brahma. In the future also, whoever this way, having understood Pranava, do the Upasana Pranava first as Mahat Brahma and fulfill all the obligations or desires or ambition, now takes the Om as Parabrahma, and through the Anugrah of the Parabrahma, Omkara, when he under the Guru studies the Tattva Jnana, Vedanta Jnana, and he pursue that contemplation, he will also get to the Brahma Anubhuti, there is no doubt. That was the morning class. So here also, should we stop at the Upasana level? Is there something higher? Because in the Upasana, how much ever great you do, still there is the doer and doing, or the Upasaka, Upasya, Bheda is still there. And as long as there is a Bheda, there is a burden, there is a heaviness, there is a load, there is a sense of some or the other problem, whether it is called as insecurity. The biggest problem is forgetfulness. It leads to all calamity. Therefore, even between the Upasya Devata and me, the oneness we have to finally establish. Therefore, to establish that, this is the 28th chapter. In fact, in the first 10 slokas, Bhagavan, be attentive, helps us with some beautiful but very sublime, very Vairagya Yukta thoughts, only to tell us that if at all you are failing in upasanas, These are the reasons. One point. Second, you have not failed in upasana, you succeeded. Yet, you have to transcend the upasana, upasaka, upasya, triputi, and you have to reach to the ultimate. For that, you have to quieten your mind. Only on the quietened mind, on the seat of contemplation, you can ponder over the truth and realize the truth which is ever there. For that, after becoming upasaka, totally surrendering to Ishvara, still you have to be in the very world. When you are in the world, there are things and beings and people and situations around. You have to go through them. When you go through them, what is your attention? What is your understanding? What is your attitude towards all those things and beings and happenings around? What attitude makes you again fall back to the samsari? What attitude lifts you away? What attitude acts like a kavacham around you, that anything happening around doesn't disturb your inner bosom, so that your inner bosom or antakarana is always full of calmness, quietness, energy, readiness, concentration for the pursuit of the inquiry on the truth. This is how in the 28th sarga or chapter, Bhagavan will start saying. In between, after some 10-12 sloka, Sri Uddhavji will ask a beautiful question. Whom is to bondage and to whom is the liberation? While answering to that question, Bhagavan Krishna unhesitatingly gives the essence of the Pakka ultimate Vedanta Jnana up to the Mandukya Upanishad level. That's how in this particular chapter becomes very contemplative for those who are ready for it, for those who are fit for it. No tamasha here, no emotions here, no all type of offering to the Lord and sitting in front of the Lord and profusely crying and singing for Him and make Him also cry. All that is gone with 27th chapter. Here, ruthlessly rejecting all the delusory misconceptions about ourselves and the world and everything. Ruthlessly will be the theme in this. And only people who have guts, first of all, will come to study Bhagavat and continue and enter into 11th. In this also are able to study and digest the 20th chapter only if they have that special daring, dynamism, readiness. Or else, like any satsanga, even this satsanga also can be a helping means for either passing the time or happily dozing off. समय को बिताने के लिए, निद्रा पाने के लिए कोई भी सत्संग जैसा मदद करेगा, ये भी मदद करेगा उन लोगों के। लेकिन जो चैलेंजेस लेने वाले हैं, जो पूरे कोने तक पहुंचना चाहते हैं, गहराइयों तक, जो चीज का जो भी है फाइनल देखना चाहते हैं, those want to see the end of the things. To them, this chapter is a feast. And the more bigger the feast, the more difficult it is to prepare and eat and again digest. So this is a feast, but the preparation also is bigger. And the effort to consume that feast also not easy. Then the effort to digest is more toughest. जैसे खाने के भी है ना, खाने के मजा आता है, खाई जाए खाई जाए खाई जाए, अब उनने बाद अब हजम ही नहीं होता. 60, 70, 80 ईयर्स खाई जा रहे, अंदर का मिस्टर पेटू ही सेस, यार कितना डालेगा तू, एक बार हिसाब लगा, हमने हजारों क्विंटल डाला अभी तक, थक जाता है. In the same way, are we able to digest? Okay, just like the 27th chapter is practical with regard to the upasana, so to 28th chapter is the practical with regard to contemplation. Both of them, if you have the theory but not practiced, they are not going to help. In both of them, you want to do the practice, but if the theoretical knowledge is not clearly heard, thought over, understood, and systematically planned, the practical cannot be done. Keep both things in mind. With these few words, Now we will see what is in the 28वां chapter of 11th skandha of Bhagavat. हाँ देखो ऑलमोस्ट आ रहे हैं. टुडे इज द 340th डे और लिटिल मोर देन दैट ऑफ दिस 11th स्कंदा. मतलब ऑलमोस्ट पिछले साल सितंबर में या अगस्त लास्ट में हमने स्टार्ट किया होगा ये. वन स्कंदा वन सॉलिड ईयर, वन स्कंदा. इन द सेम वे इफ यू हैड स्टडी 10th आल्सो that would have taken like that. the 12 skanda would take 6 साल properly thoroughly शुरू से पढ़े तो without break. Now let us see. Om Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam Ekadasha Skandha Muktir Hitva Anyatha Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthitihi Atha Ashtavimshodhyayah Shri Bhagavan We will chant the 9 mantras, then we'll try to see what Bhagavan is hinting or guiding or suggesting or telling us to understand into. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Parasvabhavakarmani na prashamset na garhayet Vishwamekatmakam pashyan prakrutya purushena cha Parasvabhavakarmani yaha prashamsati nindati स आशु भ्रश्यते स्वार्थात् असत्याभिनिवेशतः तैजसे निद्रयापन्ने पिण्डस्थो नष्टचेतनः मायां प्राप्नोति मृत्युं वा तद्वत् नानार्थदृक्पुमान् किं भद्रं किम् अभद्रं वा द्वैतस्या वस्तुनः कियत् वाचोदितं तत् अनृतं मनसाध्यातमेव च छाया प्रत्याह्वया भासा ह्यसन्तोऽप्यर्थकारिणः एवं देहादयो भावाः यच्छन्त्यां मृत्युतो भयम् आत्मैव तत् इदं विश्वं सृज्यते सृजति प्रभो त्रायते त्राति विश्वात्मा ह्रियते हरतीश्वरः तस्मात् न ह्यात्मनोऽन्यस्मात् अन्यो भावो निरूपितः निरूपितेयं त्रिविधा निर्मूला भातिरात्मनि इदं गुणमयं विद्धि त्रिविधं मायया कृतम् एतत् विद्वान् मदुदितं ज्ञानविज्ञाननैपुणं न निन्दति न च स्तौति लोके चरति सूर्यवत् प्रत्यक्षेणानुमानेन निगमेनात्मसंविदा आद्यन्तवत् असत् ज्ञात्वा निस्सङ्गो विचरेदिह निस्सङ्गो विचरेदिह. Karma yogi does the karma without phalapeksha and does the vihara. Bhakti yogi, by offering everything to the Lord and having no ownership on anything, he also freely lives in this world with the ahanta mamata rahityam. Same way here, the vicharavan purusha, the person of thinking contemplation also understands about the ephemerality of the world, non-existence nature of the world. In that knowledge revealing, he gets detached from everything. So that's the sublime theme in these 10 shlokas, which is very heavy. 10 shlokas, which is a little difficult to understand, not very, but impossible to practice. Because without these things, we feel that the jivanam is empty. Life is not at all possible. Because we are habituated into that sort of life so much that without that, life is impossible. In that attitude, all of us stay. Okay. Now, straight away, Bhagavan says, what is the point here? Ki para swabhava karmani na prashamsetu na garhayetu. Okay. 3 instructions are given. Parasvabhava karmani na prashamsetu na garhayetu. Then Vishwam ekatmakam pashyan. Having seeing the entire Vishwam as having one self behind it, and that one self only through the Prakriti Purusha Viveka or Prakriti Purusha expression, expressing as this world. This is how in the first shloka the preparation, the sadhana, and the siddhi, as if these three are told. If this is not done, what will be the loss incurring in our life is said in the second shloka. Now it's very practical, very important, and very useful if it is done, but never done because of our present level of attachments and emotions. What Bhagavan says is directly is para means the others other than you, whoever they may be. They are the close family members, relatives, friends, even the opposition party, in the government, the neighbor country. कोई भी बंदा जो तुमसे अलग है, अदर है, उसका पर स्वभाव and कर्माणि, his nature as well as his actions. Because with some days of staying with anyone, you will know his nature. Because through the actions done, we can see the nature. We can understand. So, and when we are in this world, both the type of people we see who are really good and great in their svabhava, in their karma. They are taught, trained by some masters, and a long time they lived like that. And very useful they are to the society, very inspiring. They are like the God men on the earth, or they are the trendsetters or the guides to the world. In the same world, there are very bad, wretched people also, with all the non positivities, with all the destructive attitudes. So extreme. And most of us go on fluttering between these two. Sometimes our swabhava and karma expresses the goodness. Sometimes the negative thing expresses. So the two extremes are there. One is extremely good, great, grand, glorious. Other one is extremely bad and worst. In between the mixture. What Bhagavan says is, even if somebody's swabhava and karma are so great, yet you should not do the prashamsa of them. Therefore, it appears to be contradiction. Is it not? From various reasons. One is what? If you don't do prashamsa of that fellow, how can he be inspired to continue in that good life? Is it not? And unless we do the prashamsa of that person's good quality, how can they enter into us and we become good? Therefore, in the different lower level of classes, we always say that do the prashamsa of the good activities, good swabhava of the people. All that is when we are in the laukika vyavahar. But when we are coming to the spiritual sadhana, where we have to transcend the in-between impediment called as the antahkarana, whose nature of having variety of thoughts and emotions is the obstruction, because of which we are not able to transcend or rise above the antahkarana to see the Paramatma. In this particular sadhana, the same good things which were done earlier are found to be the obstructions. Therefore, when we come to this class, we have to transcend it. So, na prashamsetu. How much ever prashamsaraha they are from the vyavahara standpoint, even if sometimes requires obligatorily, if you are the master of ceremony, if you are given the mic to introduce that person in the public talk, there you don't say according to Bhagavata दूसरों के अच्छे स्वभाव कर्म का प्रशंसा नहीं करना. uh, uh, therefore this person may be great, I don't know, but I don't like to tell about his greatness. ऐसा करके don't come out of the stage. There do the nataka. But let us be serious in our sadhana. What is sadhana? Never ever do the prashamsa of swabhava and karma of anyone, in your mind as well as there. Then there are a lot of superficial negative results out of it, the deeper negative results out of it. The superficial negativities क्या होते हैं? When you do the prashamsa of the others swabhava and karma, if they are really good, is that person becomes egoistic. that person again and again, you know, claims or tries to behave in such a way that always he demands or commands that one from us. Second is what? That person whose swabhava karma prashamsa we have done. There is 2000% chance that we get attached to that person. Once we get attached to anything or the being, that life, please remember, unless Bhagavan's grace is there, that doesn't go away. And some intelligent people change their attachment, therefore, their person of attachment changes, but attachment doesn't change. It goes on throughout life. So these are the superficial looks and losses come when we do the prashamsa of the para, swabhava and karma, others' nature, others' activities. Deeper is what? The deeper is there is a person other than you, and he has got these qualities, nature, and this is the work he has done, and that work is good. All these mithya vishayas start appearing to be real. This is called the deep spiritual negative impact of that. Where we have to reach ultimately is to that supreme self in which no trace of stulata, sukshmata, karanata or dvaita are there. No trace. Now this type of behavior of inside the mind praising others, outside with the mouth praising others is necessarily creating and substantiating the duality, the karma phala, karta, triputi. Whereas in the pure Paramatma, who is our goal, all of them are not there. And unless we transcend them to that Paramatma, we can never reach. From that deep Adhyatmika Dhyana, Abhyasa or Dhyana, Arhata standpoint, Bhagavan here says, Parasvabhava Karmani na prashamse. प्रशंसा नहीं करना. अब प्रशंसा ही नहीं करने को कहा, even if they are however good or noble, then if they are very bad swabhava, very ignoble swabhava, very bad karma, ignoble karma they are doing, in general we have to do the censuring of them, garahanam of them. Is it not ninda? Bhagavan says ki na garahaye tapi. If other swabhava and karma are negative, of that also we should not do the garahanam of the insulting or humiliating or what do you say, censuring them. We have, in short, is what? Our own swabhava karma we have to transcend to reach that Paramatma who is beyond all swabhava, who is beyond all the kartrutva karma, karma phala relative world. मेरे खुद के ही स्वभाव कर्मों को मुझे पार होना है तत्व को जानने के लिए, then how can I be bothered about the others स्वभाव and karma? If good, no need to appreciate, and bad, we need not do any garhanam also. Again, when the garhanam is done, the superficial negative results are what? Same. Like the prashamsa, when you do, the person becomes arrogant. Here through dinda, the person becomes guilty. Like that person expects us from us again and again that prashamsa, this person tries to run away or escape from us. More, when we do the garhanam in our heart from spiritual standpoint, the hatred, vengeance toward that person happens. With that happening of either raga because of prashamsa or the dvesha because of garhanam, a person and these negativities, when they come into the mind, that unquiet mind can never be fit instrument for transcending all the mana and reach the self. Therefore, paraswabhava karmani na prashamsed na garhayeto. Just to be a witness, just look at. No need to estimate them, calculate them, compare them, label them, comment on them. जो है सो है, बस मेरा काम नहीं है. Let the government deal with it. Let the Lord deal with it. Let his well-wishers deal with it. I now have to travel inside into my meditational heights. These all the social services of Ninda and Prashamsa and guiding and counseling, I have sufficiently done in my earlier life so much, there is no end to that. अब ना मुझे किसी के व्यक्ति से, उसके स्वभाव से, उसके कर्म से, चाहे वो अच्छा हो या बुरा हो, ना कोई मुझे लेना, ना कोई मुझे देना. That attitude we have to develop. And it is so important. Non-forming opinions about the people is the purest of the heart. Situation-based response, situation-based protection, we have to do of ourselves. Before that, after that, let us not carry the load of impressions about the people, seeing their swabhava and the karma, and make them as our raga and dvesha yukta relations in our heart. It is never ever a lakshana of the sadhaka, true sadhaka. And various reasons, one or two reasons Bhagavan will tell you. Yeah, various reasons में क्या है? Most important reason is everything is Maya and Mithya. In Maya and Mithya, everything is possible from this extreme to that extreme. And all those possible things from this good extreme to that positive extreme in the Maya are not real at all to be valued. Like great valued hero also will be there in the movie, and worst negative valued villain also will be in the movie. That's how the movie is. But mind you, both of them are unreal. Then how will, if you really attach to the hero because of his good behavior, and the villain, let us say he is seated in the same flight which you are traveling from one place to other, आपके पीछे suddenly उठकर जाके उनकी पिटाई करो. Why? Because in the movie he troubled your hero. What are we called as? Pagal only. Because both of them are movie, unreal. Same way, the entire world is Maya projected. In that, everything is possible. Everything can change from one end to the other. Yet, all of that is unreal, superimposed, imaginary. Is it not? Second is what? From that person's standpoint, unless he is related to us, unless he, now I'm coming to little lower level than the tattva level. Unless he seeks from us, we need not even label them or even guide. If they come and ask, why according to Shastra, this is a good behavior, helps us and others. This is a bad behavior, trouble others and oneself. This is what I know from Shastra. I am informing you, choice is yours. In this way, we have to live. Third point is what? In this powerful Maya, in whose influence every individual's mind will be there, unless he is highly spiritual, every person's behaviors keep on fluctuating. If you fix your mind on somebody as good or bad person, when he behaves the other way, which is natural because he will change, we will not be able to recognize or accept or tolerate it. Like very close person to you because he served you for a good period of time. You get attached. Suddenly the person leaves and goes. Then you can't tolerate it. That suffering and the pain is unbearable. So if you are a wise person, no ninda stuti. Everything is Prabhu Krupa. That's it. Save your skin. Save your mind. And nobody is always good. They go on changing from good to bad. Nobody is bad or good. In one occasion a person good, another place is bad. एक जगह bad है तो यहाँ good होता है. Good and bad are the relative terms given in Shastra for the protection of the world, for the sustenance of the world, for the helping of the people in the world. We are not talking about the world or world's life or sustenance in world. We are spiritual seekers talking about that which is beyond the world. और हमको फिर इन सब से लेना देना नहीं है. Else what will happen? As we said, I as an individual also become strong, and that contrast person also real to me, his behavior also is real to me. Then when I go on labeling or strongly commenting about that person's goodness or badness, the strong, non-eliminatable raga dvesha are formed. With that mind, do you think a person can go deep in his contemplation to think about the truth or reality or Paramatma? कभी नहीं हो सकता. Therefore, from today onwards, reduce even that Punjabi style of formality of praising people beyond what they are. And they are surprised. यार मैं इतना अच्छा नहीं हूँ. कोई गाल नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ ना. वहाँ का वो लोग आदत से करते हैं. They don't do it seriously. Therefore, that doesn't bother. है ना, कहते स्वामी जी आप बढ़िया है, मेरा घर पूरा आपका है, चाबी मेरे पास रहेगा. You know. By nature they do it, not consciously. When the love becomes natural, then it is not a love. Because naturally is loving, there's no effort. By the way. So, parasvabhava karmani na prashamseta na garhayet. Keep alert about our own mind. Jo hai so hai bas. Then what to do, what for that has to be done, and how it can be done. For both of them, same answer. Vishwam eka atmakam pashyan. An entire Vishwa of all the individualized names and forms have only one Atma behind all of them. Same one self only. At this particular moment, here it is like this. Another particular moment, here it is like that. Vishwam Eka Atmakam Pashyan. Underline this point. Entire Vishwa has only one Atma. I have to recognize that. And what is the parda which is not allowing me to recognize the Paramatma is the variety of expressions of the same Paramatma in these two extremes. So, when I value these extremes, then I got defeated in the jadoo of Bhagavan, that the coverings on him in the form of good or bad behavior. I am caught up in that. I can't see the beyond. So, सारे विश्व में एक ही परम आत्मा सबका है आत्मा के रूप में. That you have to see. And yesterday in one of the class we saw that the criminal terrorist, punish him outside as required. But heart in heart we must know, in him also there is Paramatma. Paramatma was in that mood. Therefore, the Shishupala, Dantavaktra, all of them were killed outside because of their outer negativities. But Bhagavan gave them his own abode or has taken them into him. Why? Because he knows the same self is there in them also. But behaviorally, they did wrong, they need the punishment. If they are not punished, they also don't learn. Then others also will not have a lesson. Every killing of Bhagavan in the Puranas of the Dushtas is only lesson to the future people whom they should know that if they behave like that, they will also be severely punished. वो तो लीला है, बट कोई भी हो सब उन्हीं के स्वरूप है. इसलिए every of them were killed. They were taken back into Bhagavan only to say that Vishwam Eka Atmakam Pashyan. हो गया? प्रकृत्या पुरुषेण च. The entire world as the Prakriti, as the expression, the matter aspect, Purusha, the enlivening aspect. They are common. So पुरुष दृष्टि से सब में वही आत्म चैतन्य है. प्रकृति के दृष्टि से सब में वही माया. अब माया का कोई ठिकाना नहीं होता. Just now we said anybody can change from the best to the worst, from the worst to the best. We can't imagine. Like in our own life, every day we see, sometimes we are so good with all values and all disciplines, controls. The other time we ourselves behave so wretched that we don't even know that we are sadhakas. We have forgotten. माया प्रकृति कहते हैं उसको. Therefore, don't value the effects of the swabhava and karma of the people and label them as good or bad. निंदा प्रशंसा नहीं करना. दोनों. If you do one, then you will end up in doing the other to the other fellow. Just सब वही परमात्मा इन अपने ही प्रकृति के द्वारा इस रूप में व्यक्त होकर ऐसे नाटक कर रहे. We need not do ninda, we need to do prashamsa. There is a nectarine sweetness in the flowers, that is Bhagavan's expression. There is a poison fuming in the snake, that also Bhagavan's expression. Neither love or like are attached to that, nor hate or be averse to this. परमात्मा का ये एक्सप्रेशन ऐसे हैं दोनों. क्यों है, क्या है, उनकी लीला है. I save my skin, I save my mind. So this is the first instruction Bhagavan given. Now, if this is not followed, and we continuously, in the observance of the people, their activities, their nature and character, go on labeling them or praising them or censuring them, how we destroy our sadhana is said in the second shloka. Bhagavan says, Parasvabhava karmani yah prashamsati nindati sah ashu brashyate swarthat asatyabhiniveshatah. It's very sublime thought it is. Okay, only one thought, only one knowledge, only one information, but very true, very sublime. Very careful you have to listen. That is in the fourth part of the shloka. First three parts are easy to understand. What he says, Parasvabhava karmani yaha prashamsati nindati. Whoever not listening to what is said earlier shloka, contrary that they are doing the ninda and prashamsa of others swabhava and karma. And this ninda and prashamsa again many a times by our choice. If the people are very attached to by us, apne paas wale, then their negative also we justify and do prashamsa. And if they are shatru like to us, even the good activity of that also we do the निंदा ओनली. ये सब मूर्खता तो हर एक जीवन में सबका होता है, स्पेशली the elderly women of home at the age of 58-60. Anything her stupid daughter does is justifiable. Because मेरी बेटी, what a murkhata. She goes and spends money in clubs and all. Lots of money is spent in her makeup, June cup. She is indisciplined towards her father-in-law, irresponsible towards the family. हाँ कितना करेंगे, करके थक ही जाएंगे, किया होगा जरूर तो इनफैक्ट वही लोग तंग कर रहे होंगे. The stupid mother, because of attachment, will only do the prashamsa of the daughter. How much useless that girl. But same lady, when her daughter-in-law does any of the good activities and all, like आके मत्था टेका, चाय वाय दे दी, हाँ मेरे को फंसा के तिजोरी की चाबी लेना चाहती है. Because you don't love her. Very rare. If the Sasoma and daughter-in-law are understanding each other with the Gaurava and Prema of mother and daughter type. But in general cases, even if she does noble activity, she will only do the ninda only of that. And I made a very good dish, let us say. And her son means her husband and father are they are praising. हाँ क्या है टीवी में देख के बनाई होगी ये. Somehow do the ninda. और योर ओन डॉटर मेड ए डिश, इट केम थर्ड क्लास, देन इसे हाँ कुछ तो कोई फोन आया होगा, भूल गई होगी, या नहीं तो जिस चीज से बनाया हो अच्छा चीज नहीं मिला होगा. Somehow they will attach. This is by nature. That is worst. That is samsara. But when we come to the sadhana, Bhagavan says कि परस्वभाव कर्माणि यह प्रशंसति निंदति. Whoever does the prashamsa and ninda of दूसरों का स्वभाव and karma, सह आशु भ्रश्यते स्वार्थात्. This is the statement of fact. Instantaneously, he will fall from his higher good. So, artha means parama purushartha. How is it that? That is a very crucial thought. Very one thought only, but very important one. What is that? कि असत्य अभिनिवेशितः. Abhinivesha means valuing. Abhinivesha means attaching. Abhinivesha means identifying with the asatya. How? What is the relation between these two? Because everybody's swabhava, everybody's karma is not there in Paramatma. The swabhava belongs to mana. Mana belongs to maya. The karma belongs to the karta. Karta is a jiva. Jiva is a mithya. Is it not? So मिथ्या जीव को सत्य मानना, उस मिथ्या जीव का असत्य स्वभाव या कर्म को सत्य मानना रूपी असत्य अभिनिवेशन हो जाता है. We start taking the asatya as satya. And this will come in the next 7-8 slokas. Bhagavan is going to explain the entire theme. We are going to study it. We will spend some time. Jitna ho sake koshish kare. He is making main statements. He will explain them in the further slokas. So, how one brashyate swarthatu, how one will be destroying oneself in his spiritual evolution, because asatya viniveshata. Everything in the world is happening because of Maya. In the absolute truth, nothing is happening. That absolute truth we have to reach. To reach that, the obstacle is the Maya in the form of showing in front of us all the happenings. Like the Jadugar shows all the happenings without anything happening there. The producer director show all the movie without anything happening there. Even in the Swapna, everything appears happening as if, but really not so. In the same way, the असत्य जगत को, जगत में रहने वाले सारे असत्य व्यक्ति विशेषों को और उनके व्यवहार जो असत्य है, सत्य के रूप में हम स्वीकार कर कर अपने परमात्मा मार्ग से वंचित होते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड असत्य अभिनिवेशतः स्वार्थात् आशु भ्रश्यते. Now, how one has to be so matured to first of all understand literally what is said, then use the logic to accept what is said. Then, with all faith and consistency, practicing it inside. Outside ठीक है, suddenly we should not transform or change. फिर वो लोग कहते हैं कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया इनसे. Outside धीरे धीरे, inside all is mithya maya, all is Paramatma. And as I told you earlier, one more thought we add, कि even in Vyavahara, or praising somebody or censuring somebody will unnecessarily create negative vibrations in the world. People take us as authority and then they also start believing in that. उन्होंने कहा ना इसलिए बंदा बुरा है, इन्होंने कहा ना अच्छा है. Then they also form opinions, which is again a samsara. हमारे को क्या है फाइनली, वी वांट टू सी द परमात्मा who is all permeating in spite of all those things behaving in whatever the odd manner they are behaving. वो जैसे भी हो उनके पीछे छुपे हुए भगवान का हमें दर्शन करना है. दैट इज अ गोल, नो? एंड टू रीच टू दैट गोल, इफ यू वैल्यू the Maya Krita, all the Swabhava karma of the people, whether as good or bad, then we are denying ourselves of the opportunity to transcend them. See Bhagavan. This is why Bhagavan says, Asatya aviniveshatah swarthat ashu brashyate. Swarthat means from his path of knowing the truth, brashyate, he will slip down, fall down. Because when you do the ninda or prashamsa of parasvabhava karma, you are only valuing the asatya. Asatya avinivesh. For hundreds of reasons. No, each reason will be very sublime and one has to be in very pure vairagya sthiti to listen and understand them. Like one or two, I tell you. One already said, nobody is good in nature all the time. बदल रहा है. बदल गया कि नहीं? Nobody is bad in the nature. बदल रहा है. Good भी हो गए कि नहीं? Nobody's actions are always bad. Good. Bad actions भी कर रहा है वो. कोई किसी का bad नहीं, good भी कर रहे हैं. कौन सी चीज टिक रहा है? एवरीथिंग इज कंडीशनल ना. थिंक अबाउट इट. यूज दिस लॉजिक्स एंड अंडरस्टैंड देयर एफिमेरलिटी एंड हु इज वाइज एट व्हाट टाइम, अदरवाइज इज व्हाट टाइम. अब किसका क्या ठिकाना है बताओ? थिंक कूलली. एंड इफ यू गो ऑन वैल्यूइंग इट, इज देयर एन end to that? And the good person, when he behaves bad, the disappointments in us, the bad person becomes good, we don't accept him. हमेशा एक क्योस कन्फ्यूजन ही रहते हैं हमारे अंदर. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस निंदा स्तुति डन फॉर द बैड एंड गुड नेचर एज वेल एज activity. And in the evolutionary path, every jiva is evolving. We have to go on allowing him. लाइक ए परफेक्ट ड्राइवर बनने से पहले जो सीखने वाला, ही विल मिस हैंडल द इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स और द ब्रेक्स. अब देख रहा है वो, यू विल नॉट फाइट विथ हिम बिकॉज ही इज इन द लर्निंग प्रोसेस. So to every jiva is in his process of evolution. In that bath, कोई अच्छा कोई बुरा करते ही जाता. एंड अच्छा बुरा भी क्या है ना, कंडीशनल है. वन थिंग विच इज गुड एट वन टाइम, बैड एट वन टाइम, गुड अदर, किसी का वो ठिकाना नहीं होता. Therefore, be natural to observe the thing what's are happening. No need to label. Wow, if at all you need to protect yourself, you protect. If there is any need there of you, do the help. Any duty be done, do it. More than that, into the mind. Neither a person, nor his nature, nor his action should take possession of our heart. But do you know, throughout our life, the only time pass for us is what? Going to the second person and talking to him about the third person, and 99.99% निंदा ओनली. वी किसी का प्रेस करने का हिम्मत भी नहीं होता. और बंदा सुनने वाला कहता है मानो, तो तुम हमेशा बुरा ही बोलते हो सबका, कभी किसी का अच्छा भी बोलना. ठीक है, मैं बहुत बड़ा हीरो था और मैं इतना बढ़िया काम कर रहा हूँ. फिर अपने बारे में, अब तूने बोला ना किसी के बारे में अच्छा बोलो, मैं बोल रहा हूँ मेरे बारे में. You know, Atmastuti Paraninda is natural to every immature person. A sadhaka Atmaninda Parastuti he does. But at a higher level, na Atmaninda Stuti, na Paraninda Stuti. Because all of them are in the Vyavarika Jagat under the influence of non-apprehension of the reality or truth. In that reality truth, neither the nature is there, nor Maya is there, nor the Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, Antakarana are there, nor their behavior. That truth we have to apprehend. For that sake, we have to protect ourselves. To protect, no asatya avinivesha should happen. Asatya avinivesha happens because of the ninda stuti of the bad or good action or nature of the people. Or the aspect of samashti prarabdha, veshti prarabdha, we don't know. इतना सारा ना, इन सब के हिसाब पे डिपेंड होता है. बहुत सारे रीजंस होते हैं. In one person's good activity, there are 100 reasons. In one person's bad activity, 100 reasons. Unless we know all of them, we can't clearly understand it. Therefore, we can't do ninda or stuti. Paraswabhava karmani na prashamsed na garhayetu vishwamekatmakam pashyan prakrutya purushena cha. If not, paraswabhava karmani yaha prashamsati nindati sa ashu brashyate swarthat asatya aviniveshati. So throughout the day, how many our activities we do, number of people we meet. When we come home or sit for our puja, if without in a little effort also, if the mind is focusing on Paramatma, means you have done this practice. Otherwise, throughout the day, Ninda Stuti, with that disturbed mind, sit in front of Paramatma to contemplate. होगा क्या? वही लोग, उन्हीं का बिहेवियर, उन्हीं की वही याद आता रहता है. एंड दैट हैज नो ठिकाना, वो हो भी चुका है पहले, वैल्यू दिया इसलिए वासना बना. सो दिस इज मेन पॉइंट. किसी का स्वभाव का, कर्म का निंदा प्रशंसा ना करो. What it's a direct point said, but what it also means is what any other individuality with whatever any other individual with whatever is individuality should not enter into your antakarana as an impression. Because to know the truth one day, you have to eliminate all of them. If you have to eliminate, then why have to invite them? And what makes other person enter our heart is the ninda stuti. What the ninda stuti we do is of the swabhava and karma. When we are seeing the person, his karma, his swabhava, then we do the stuti and ninda, then that karma, that swabhava, that person enters into us, into our own mind. Then we give it reality. We expect all the time the good only. अब देखो, संसार हो गया. Where is the contemplation happening? Where is rising above the upadhi is happening in this case? Where is the apprehension of truth is happening? फंस ही गए ना. है ना. And ninda stuti of others we do depending on our nature and our inclination and our liking and dislike. Like a terrorist loves the other terrorist, but he hates the police. Are? But police loves the other police, hate the terrorist. अरे एक जात के हैं. Is it not? Like I love all the people of Telugu, not because they are loving, but I am Telugu therefore. यही लॉजिक है इसका. I love Indians because I belong to India, not because Indians are great. And because I like India, I don't like Pakistan, I don't like other people, which is only nonsense. Next life, if you are born in Pakistan, अब क्या बताओगे? If that time you love India, they'll kick you only there. You have to hate India. That is the training they give there. See that all. थोड़ा संभल के रहना. Now next 5-6 slokas will give us more clear picture, more expanded idea. And all that is from the truth reality realization standpoint. Protect yourself. This is called Shatrau Mitre Putre Bandhav Ma Kuryagnam Vigraha Sandhav Sarvasminavi Pashyatmanam Sarvatra Utsruja Bhedajnanam. Same meaning. Bhagavan Shankara in Bhajagovinda. Same even again he says Janakrupa Naishturyam Utsrujatam in our the Sadhana Panchakam. Here Parasubhava Karmani Nanindet Na Prashamset, we talked it objectively. Actually it should be subjectively. Means what? Other Swabhava and Karma towards you is very kind, loving. Obviously we are tempted to do the Prashamsa through that attachment. Other person's swabhava and karma towards us is negative. Obviously, we do the ninda and try to create enmity with that person. We spoke in explanation detail about somebody's natural nature and the behavior you label. But generally that never bothers us. कोई अच्छा बुरा हो एक आध मिनट में. But when somebody whose contact we are in, who are related to us in different reasons, when they behave with us in a good manner, there is prashamsa and attachment. In a bad manner, there is ninda and aversion. So thus we create ragadvesha shatru mitra in us. फॉर्मेलिटी में कोई अच्छा किया तो थैंक यू बोलो. But more than that, it's very good. Congrats, keep it up. You helped me, gratitudes to you. I'll reciprocate. More than that, कुछ रखना ही नहीं मन में attachment. Like you all do. Wonderfully take help from everyone, but गुरुदेव एंड भगवान एंड हेल्प अस सो मच. फिर भी कोई अंदर है थोड़ी ड्यूटी है या आपका ड्यूटी है, आपको ऐसे करना पड़ेगा, करते रहना पुत्र. नो रेस्पेक्ट लव अटैचमेंट कंटिन्यू. इन द सेम वे समबडी डिड समथिंग नो, बच के रहना. उससे ज़्यादा हद से पार नहीं होना. हद से पार होना इज allowing a person with his behavior nature to enter into our mind, disturb it. That is a great thing. There are some people, so wise. Never bring any issue of the office to home. Never ever discuss even one thing to wife. Very good. उसका उधर का उधर इधर, और घर का भी कचरा वहां नहीं ले जाते. They are not mixing up the issues. If the wife or the father are, they are also wise people, for the sake of understanding knowledge, if the issues are discussed, that's okay. But not as ये बंदा बुरा है. No, no. इश्यू को सॉल्व करने के लिए, नॉलेज को गेन करने के लिए, यू कैन डिस्कस. पापा दैट फेलो बिहेव लाइक दैट, हाउ टू रेस्पॉन्ड. पापा विल गाइड, नॉट टू क्रिएट अटैचमेंट और हेट्रेड. वो चलेगा. बट अदर देन दैट, नो कैरिंग कचरा इन अस. वी आर ऑल डंपिंग यार्ड. खुद अपने अंदर डंप करते हैं, और एनीबडी कम्स टू अस, वी डंप द डस्ट ऑफ all the words about people, opinion about people to them. Those stupid fellows also equally like us because they are our friends. They also carry the load. We are all municipality. Is it not? Mat karo ye. And how to do all that? Bhagavan will say, we will see. He will give an example first, then 1, 2, 3, 4 slokas. So divine, so powerful. Unless all Upanishadic mantras are quoted, we cannot explain all that. We will try how to understand. Let us see. Sarvam Narayana Arpanamastu Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Protect your mind, that is the main thought. Let us do our Adhyatma Ramayanam.